We can go? Okay. We can bring this meeting to order. Going to reconvene to public session. We got a roll call. All of our board members are here, including our student trustee. And now we have attendance, everything, and public comments. Pursuant to board policy number 2350, public comment may be limited to 3 minutes per person or 30 minutes per topic. All speakers who would like to comment regarding a matter on the meeting agenda must submit a public comment card to the board president or recording secretary prior to the point in the meeting at which the agenda item is called. All speakers who would like to comment regarding a matter not on the meeting agenda must submit a public comment card to the board president recording secretary prior to the point in the meeting for open forum on non-agenda items. Public comment cards are available at the information table at the rear of the college boardroom from the recording secretary or online. We ask all speakers come to the podium to address the board. Thank you. Okay, we have Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, Barbara, lead us.
Right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, item 9.1, agenda approval. Do you have a motion?
So move.
Any discussion? Hearing none advice?
I approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Okay, employee recognition 10.1. Frank Odell.
As the board is aware, we lost a dear friend a short time ago in Frank Odell. I'd like to read to you a resolution for your consideration. Whereas Frank Odell began his career at Antelope Valley College in 1978, and for over 44 years has served the campus through facility services. And whereas Frank has served the campus with dedication on multiple activities, including scoring athletics. And whereas Frank served as athletic event announcer for decades. And whereas Frank was involved in the ham radio community. And whereas Frank received the Bill Montamble Award for classified service. And whereas Frank was those who had the pleasure of meeting him. And whereas Frank's years of dedicated service to the college and community is invaluable in touching the lives of faculty, staff, and students. Now, therefore, be it resolved and ordered by the Board of Trustees of Antelope Community College District, acknowledging Frank Odell's commitment, thereby naming the press box at the Brent Carter Memorial Stadium, the Frank Odell Press Box. And resolved this 13th day of June, 2022.
Okay. Do we have a motion for resolution 21-22/30, Board of Trustees, Antelope Valley College?
So move.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none advice?
I approve.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
It's now the Frank Odell press box.
Now I'm asking my lovely wife to join me, Susan. We started, when we first got here, Susan and I started a Presidential Service Award to recognize an employee each year who went above and beyond their job description in providing service either to the college or the community or both. And it has been our pleasure to have awarded these over the years. And to ensure that it will carry on in the future. So I'll let Susan read the citation and then we'll go from there. Normally we present this award at opening day in the fall, but for other circumstances, we're going to award it tonight.
Good evening. Bill Carlson has been a member of Antelope Valley College's information technology team since 2002, starting as a part-time computer services technician, joining the team full-time in 2006. Since then, he has grown within the department as a technician, mentor, and leader. In 2015, Bill became the manager and assumed responsibility for classroom, audiovisual, and help desk services as well. Two new challenges and steep learning curves that he handled with ease. Which brings us to the pandemic and the college's need to pivot rapidly to protect itself and the community. Bill led a team putting in long hours, realigning services over 90% of our students, faculty, and staff remotely. They stripped labs of equipment and seemingly overnight reconfigured devices for employees and students from home. They re-provisioned over 700 devices for remote instruction, and Bill oversaw the retrofit of over 190 classrooms for remote instruction, and in doing so, established an example this team strives to replicate. In recognition of his quiet, unwavering commitment to supporting ABC and its community in service to our students, Bill Carlson is awarded the Presidential Service Award for 2021-2022.
And this is not to be spent on paying bills.
Thank you. I'm going to say something real quick. Okay? As you all know, I didn't do all that by myself. So I'd like to thank a few people that helped make my job a little easier. That would be the entire ITS INC team. I see some of them are here. I rely on them every day, and without them, this couldn't be possible. So also like to thank Business Services for getting our recs through timely fashion, and the folks in the warehouse who help us receive all those items and get them squared away. Thank you.
Now I'd like to make a personal service award. I'd like to talk to you about the servant leader. The term servant leader was invented in 1970 by leadership theorist Robert K. Greenleaf, who was very careful about the ordering of those two words, servant first, leader second, so that the desire to serve others must precede any interest in a position of leadership. Servant leaders don't make the attainment of high-level leadership positions their goal in life, but they often end up in those positions because regardless of whether they realize it, they walk in the footsteps of the one who commanded us to love one another as he loved us. Such a path inspires the servant leader with a genius for creating opportunities for others, with a vision for what is not only possible, but what is right. And certainly in my husband's case, a desire to plant trees under whose shade he will never sit. That is the reward of being a servant leader. The good one can do, the change effected, the difference that a person can make in a life, in a community. My husband is a servant leader. There are many servant leaders in this room, and every one of them will tell you that such a way of life comes not just with rewards, but with a burden of a heavy workload, many responsibilities, certainly, but also the burden of often standing alone, and in that solitude, becoming the target of the sneering contempt Theodore Roosevelt spoke of in his 1910 speech, Citizenship in a Republic. A cynical habit of thought and speech, a readiness to criticize work which the critic himself never tries to perform, an intellectual aloofness which will not accept contact with life's realities. All these are marks, not as the possessor would feign to think of superiority, but of weakness. Roosevelt then continues with these famous words. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. We often name places and things after servant leaders like this, not just to honor and thank them, but to remind us, this is what this person did. This is why this person did so. Let us do likewise. And so I say to you, in so doing likewise, support and protect your servant leaders. Support and defend this extraordinary community and this extraordinary community college. I am proud to be Ed Knutson's wife. I am proud to have been by his side as he has walked this path this last 9 years. Thank you.
Thank you. We have item 10.3, and I'm going to ask for the vote first on this, I believe. Approval of resolution number 21-22/16, recognizing Edward Knutson.
So move. Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none advice.
I approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now. Okay. Whereas Edward Knutson is retiring from the Antelope Valley Community College District after 33 years of service to higher education, and whereas Edward Knutson led Antelope Valley College District for 9 years, and whereas Edward Knutson was instrumental in the passing of Measure A-B, a $350 million construction bond, which has transformed and modernized the college facilities for decades to come. And whereas Edward Knutson has provided outstanding fiscal stewardship, achieving debt-free status with strong financial reserves, and whereas Edward Knutson created countless and unprecedented high-quality career opportunities in the community with his visionary leadership in the airframe manufacturing bachelor's degree and the nationally recognized rapid completion of aircraft fabrication certification. And whereas Edward Knutson tenure, the number of degrees and certificates annually awarded have more than doubled to an AVC record of 3,635 in 2022. And whereas Edward Knutson has served on numerous advisory board and committees across the state, including the Student Center Funding Formula, Region 9 CEO Committee, and the local Rotary and Board of Trade. And whereas Edward Knutson is deeply devoted to his wife, Susan, to his children and grandchildren, and whereas Antelope Valley College's district board policy 6620, naming recognition, which states to honor a living person who has made a unique, extraordinary, or significant personal contribution to the college, and hereby the Antelope Valley College District Board of Trustees dedicates the Edward Knutson Boardroom, located in the future City Hall building located at 3041 West Avenue K, Lancaster, California. And whereas the Antelope Valley Community College District Board of Trustees appoints Edward Knudsen as President Emeritus. Now therefore be it resolved and ordered, the Board of Trustees of Antelope Valley Community College District, that Edward Knudsen is officially recognized and commended for his dedication, leadership, and service to Antelope Valley College by dedicating the Edward Knudsen Boardroom in the future Cedar Hall building and appointing him President Emeritus. Resolved this 13th day of June, 2022. Congratulations. Okay, what we'd like to do now, I'm sorry my voice is bad. I'm spending too many days out in Antelope Bakers last couple of days. We would like to invite people who would like to speak and say something about Mr. Knudsen to come on up, and we'll just present anything you have to present. Don't be shy, whoever's first.
Good afternoon. My name is Martin Tompkins with the Antelope Valley Transit Authority. President Knudsen, I'm somewhat embarrassed because I forgot to bring you our certificate, but either way, on behalf of the entire team at AVT and myself, we want to thank you for your partnership over the years. Just a few years ago, we started the Route 8 to serve this campus. Ridership was very low with an average of about 20 riders per day. As we worked together with you and your staff, the ways to create, we implemented the AVC Campus Connect Pass, installation of 2 tap readers on site, and we look for other ways to improve the service. And as a result of that, we've increased ridership to this campus by over 570%. So we're averaging about 114 riders per day. So that's quite an accomplishment. So on behalf of ABTA, we want to thank you for your partnership and we wish you well and congratulations on your retirement.
Hello. So I'm Donna Hill from Senator Scott Wilkes' office, and this is
Pam Balch from Assemblyman Tom Lackey's office.
so we're tag teaming you today. So just a short story to say how we feel your humility and your love for the community. We heard about your retirement, your upcoming retirement about a month ago. Pam and I rushed out and we ordered this lovely resolution for you. And then we had to figure out how to give it to you. So we kept calling your office and saying, can we come? And she says, no, don't come. It's not, he says, it's not about him. It's not about him. It's about the community. We call again and we say, okay, can we come? And she's like, no. He says, it's not about him. It's about those who've contributed to the college. So finally, it's about you. Finally, they let us come and present this to you. So I'm gonna let Pam speak and then we'll be up there to bother you with this. There you go. Okay.
I just texted the Assemblyman and said, what would you like to share with Ed tonight? And he said, I'm thankful for the multiple enhancements Ed has brought to the college. From physical changes to pragmatic additions, the Antelope Valley College has dramatically put itself in a position to support student success. We will miss Ed's forward thinking that has always included an innovative path forward. Thank you so much.
So on behalf of Senator Scott Wilk and
Assemblyman Tom Lackey.
Likewise, I will share our admiration for you, Ed, and not share all the whereases. So, Steve Hoffbauer, the elected mayor of the city of Palmdale, I would like to express our collective and my personal gratitude for your partnership You've always been receptive. You've helped take the South Antelope Valley leaps and bounds ahead. And when I've been back to DC and places like that, and I hear them talking about some of these innovative programs, and I'm sitting there going, wait a second, that's ABC. We're the guys doing that out here. So there's a lot of people that owe their careers and their livelihoods to the work that you and this board of directors, board of trustees has provided. And I just want to really personally thank you for your efforts and wish you the best on retirement. And I'm going to try to find that path someday myself. So anyways, so I'm going to try this.
Ladies and gentlemen of the board, President Knudsen, congratulations. I wish you the very best. I truly do. I wish you continued success in your life and success that continues to be all of our success.
I can't tell you how many times a day people say that to me. The supervisor sends her great regrets. She had this on her calendar to meet her personally tonight. Last minute, she couldn't make it. She apologized for not being able to be here personally because she really appreciates everything. I mean, everything's been said. You're just incredible. Your dedication to the community and to the growth and the expansion and the services, our diverse populations, our foster youth, all of the things that you've done has been incredibly moving to her. And specifically, our new venture into repurposing the Challenger Memorial Project. I know it's been a difficult process and sometimes it's challenging. Imagine that. But thank you so much for everything you've done. I too was in Rotary for a little bit with you. I know your commitment and from the deepest
All right, President Knudsen, on behalf of the Sheriff's Department and particularly the team here at the college, we want to thank you for everything you've done for us. Especially you and your wife. We're going to be missing those holiday meals. Every Thanksgiving and Christmas, him and his wife would bring whoever was working that day. They would bring a complete meal to our officers and deputies that were working. So we greatly appreciate that. You'll be missed. But good luck in everything you're doing and congratulations.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Jake with Congressman Kevin McCarthy's office. It's my privilege to be here today. I'm happy to present to you this congressional record statement that Congressman McCarthy had entered into the record just a few days ago. I'm going to briefly read it. Madam Speaker, I rise today to honor the Antelope Valley Community College District President and Superintendent, Edward Knudsen, on his retirement from after serving in higher education for over 3 decades. Like many Americans in the Vietnam era, Ed answered the call to serve our nation in the United States Armed Forces. He continued this proud legacy of service by transitioning to the field of higher education, working at his alma mater in the College of Business at Oregon State University. Ed moved on to teach at a number of institutions, including the University of Georgia, Western Oregon University, and the Lynn Benton Community College. In 2002, Ed made the way to Bakersfield, California, where I, Congressman Kevin McCarthy, would get to know him, his passion for teaching and his love for the college community. Initially, the Dean of Economic and Workforce Development at Bakersfield College, Ed was swiftly promoted to Vice President of Academic Affairs in 2006. In 2009, Ed moved to more serving as the president and superintendent, Ed transformed the school. Under his leadership, Antelope Valley College awarded a record-setting number of degrees and certificates to students, and a significant construction bond was passed, providing over $350 million towards renovations at the school facilities. Moreover, Ed positioned Antelope Valley College to better serve our community's local workforce by developing a bachelor's degree program in airframe manufacturing for students. And lastly, throughout his life, Ed has devoted himself to instilling a sense of duty and love of learning to every student he met. And I believe that's apparent by how many people are here to support you tonight, sir. Though he will be greatly missed, I'm confident he will continue to shape the lives of countless individuals. On behalf of the 23rd Congressional District of California, I would like to thank Ed for his service in higher education to our community in Bakersfield, Lancaster, and beyond. I wish him and his wife, Susan, the very best as they enter this new chapter in their lives. Signed, Congressman Kevin McCarthy. Thank you, sir.
Sorry, Ed, and I know you hate this, but I'm Brett Banks, the president of Antelope Valley Edge. And the prior organization was the Antelope Valley Board of Trade. And Ed served 2 years of a one-year term. Thank you very much, Ed, for doing that. And you remember during that time at the annual conference, we used to hand out the Navigating Change Award. And we'd like to do that tonight. For those that don't know, the Navigating Change Award was created to recognize a person or business organization whose spirit of innovation, creativity, and entrepreneurial approach combined to make a measurable impact on the greater Antelope Valley. Thank you, Ed.
And well, I'm executive director of AV Edge now. At the time that you started here, I was the president of the Board of Trade and had been invited to serve on the selection committee. So I remember reviewing applications and seeing just the numerous accomplishments that you have. And I just have to say, it's just been incredible to see the changes and the positive impact you've had on our community. We're so glad that the board in its wisdom brought you on 9 years ago. And I just wish you and Susan the best in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good evening. My name is Ashley Chavez. I'm the Veterans Program Coordinator here at ABC. Coming here tonight to thank you, President Knudsen. During my short time here, I started off as a student worker in the Veterans Resource Center about 3 years ago. And the very first time I ever saw you walk into the office, I was kind of shocked because I was like, why is the president here? Is somebody in trouble? But then I found out you were a veteran, and it really left a huge impression on me that you cared. At the risk of sounding cliche, we always hear that when a military service member leaves the service, his watch ends, but his service to his fellow veterans doesn't. And I saw that in you, whether it was speaking at our many events that we always had throughout the year, always just sticking your head in, seeing what we needed, constant communication, coming up with ideas, with outreach with the veterans, trying to make their experience better. Your pizza with the president, just always being there for us. I'm going to say thank you. Thank you for your service to your country. Thank you for your service to the school and to the Veterans Resource Center. And from the bottom of my heart, and the rest of us at the Veterans Resource Center, we're going to miss you terribly.
Good evening. My name is Kathy Hart. I'm the Interim Dean of Community Projects and Extended Learning. And I'd like to offer my personal thanks and appreciation to President Knudsen. First of all, for his leadership in opening our Palmdale Center in Palmdale. I had the great pleasure of working with the president to open the doors of that center. And now 5 years later, it's a crown jewel in our community. We had a wonderful block party last week. Community came out, they know we're here, and it continues to grow and flourish. I'd also like to thank specifically specifically for his support of our college prison program at State Prison, Los Angeles County, which is just a couple miles to the west of here. Offering college education to incarcerated students, in this case, men serving long-term sentences, some with possibility of parole and some without, is often misunderstood by the community and not often embraced. But President Knudsen has really program. He's helped fulfill a goal of the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, and that is the rehabilitation part. He's been immensely supportive of our ADT degree program in communication studies. And 2 weeks ago, our president awarded 18 degrees to students inside the prison and stood beside administrative staff and inmates' family members. And this was a huge milestone event for our college and even made the front page of the Antelope Valley Press. Thank you. So thank you again, Ed, for all of your support. You've been a wonderful boss and a president to work for. It's been my pleasure, and I will surely miss you.
Okay, does anybody else come up and speak for a minute or two? Okay, I guess you're off the hook, Ed. Thank you very much. It was very, very nice. Okay, we're going to move along to item 11.1, open forum and non-agenda items. And we have one card, Eugene Hernandez.
Chicanos make up 60% of the population of this college. And in 1998, the campus unions were very in favor of helping the Chicano community. But for some reason, the campus unions now are hostile to even creating a holiday in honor of Cesar Chavez. I mean, this college has the month of January for Martin Luther King, Black History Month, February, and they have Juneteenth. Yet they won't negotiate a holiday for one of our heroes. And that's only one. I can't understand why the unions stand in the way of creating Chicano studies. This college should have a Latino advisory council because the unions are being obstacles to our development. Our students are putting money in their salaries, their high salaries of these teachers, and yet you ignore our needs. How is that possible? It's following the colonizers' tactics of oppressing us. Shouldn't we as taxpayers get our full due? Don't we deserve to have recognition of at least one hero, Cesar Chavez? You should have a whole month. But the unions refuse to negotiate this. And this has to be remedied because it's an injustice that will not stand. This racism from the unions is not conducive to this college. I demand that you create a holiday or a month for Cesar Chavez and that you create a Chicano Studies department or add more classes. Why do you want to deprive our students of learning about their history, their culture, and their heroes? Why are you doing this? It's emasculating our students, and that's not right. That's just pure oppression by the unions, and it's got to stop. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Okay, moving along to item 12.1, final report of the President Superintendent.
Well, I had prepared some things that I thought that I would spend some time rehashing some of the things that we've done, but what I mostly want to do right now is to thank you, board, not only for giving me the opportunity, but for your support over these 9 years. Along with you and a truly outstanding team across the college, we've done some good work together. And the college is positioned to move to the next 50 years without hesitation. Always seek opportunity and be prepared to take advantage of the opportunity when it presents itself. My life has been about creating opportunity for young people and for students. I've told this story and some of you have heard it many times, but when I became a vice president, my wife said to me, "Why in God's name do you want to be a vice president?" And I said, "I need a bigger hammer." So she went out and looked and found in a Norwegian silver store a replica of Thor's hammer. I'm Norwegian, if you didn't know that. And the same thing applied to being president. I need a bigger hammer, but it isn't about a hammer to swing. It's about a hammer of opportunity. And you know, the curious thing about this piece that's been on my key ring for over 10 years, it shows no sign of wear. So my thing is, take advantage of the opportunity, realize the good that's here. Start at yes, and then figure out how to get it done. Don't start at no and worry about the consequence. Start at yes. Take the calculated risk on behalf of the community and behalf of our students, and don't be afraid of that. And I mean that to all the staff too. And to everybody here, thank you. Now, please work together and work hard together to take care of our community and our students. And now, members of the board, Jennifer, if you'd come up, please. When I got here, I got a stole. It's got the seal of the college and it says president. Welcome. And as I said to all my CEO colleagues, don't let the bastards get you down.
Okay, we're going to move on to item 12.2, which is presentation of intercollegiate athletics. I believe Mr. Gang is coming up.
As you can see, the president stole my title. I hate to say that. I mean, I created this weeks ago. So obviously we're on the same wavelength, Mr. Knudsen, and I appreciate that. But a tough act to follow. I don't know who I think for putting an agenda at this spot. Because we are changing gears a little bit. I'm changing to talk about our summary of our year end in athletics. We have a little different tonight. We invited some coaches here tonight. So we have a bunch of our coaching staff back here in the back of the room. You can see them. They all wear the AVC logo and the school colors. Don't worry about them standing up. They stand up as a profession. They're just glad to be in an air-conditioned room while they're standing up, because typically they're in a hot gym or a hot field. So thanks, guys, for being here. I appreciate that. I'm also going to go through some of the things that we typically cover, but I'm also going to have one of our student athletes speak and come and talk to you tonight. And I'm also going to have one of our coaches. and then I'll finish up. So I'll go through the stats at first and some of the things that we have, and then I'll let them speak, and then I'll come back and finish up. So if we go to the, Rick, how do we do this one? Every year I do this too, don't I? Thanks, Bill. So as I said, the title of my presentation this year is Providing Opportunities. And the reason I selected that is that for the last couple of years, we've been in a pandemic situation. The state of California Community College Athletic Association has been limiting so many opportunities across the state. When I say limiting, colleges are not even having practices. Colleges were not even competing. Colleges were not even allowing their student athletes on the campus. And while that was going on, Antelope Valley College was steadfast by creating opportunities and letting our students come on campus. And that's because of you, and that's because of President Knudsen. And that's when all these coaches and everybody else was sitting at home and everybody else was collecting a paycheck. Our coaches were here working, and our student athletes were here having the opportunities. So we have continuously provided over the years the opportunities for our student athletes to progress. So as we move forward, the big thing I want to take a look at is our athletic snapshot. If you look at our athletic snapshot, we have over 351 student athletes. We have 207, we have 107 female student athletes. We have 224 male student athletes. And the majority of all our student athletes are from California. 91% of our student athletes are in district or from California. We have a 9% out of district rate. We're going to start increasing that here in the next couple of years with the transition from our programs. But as you look through the demographics of our programs, we have a high Hispanic count with female student athletes. We also have a high Hispanic count, which represents what the community is made up of. So we believe that our athletic department has a large portion of what the community represents, we represent within our athletic department. On the right-hand side, if you see the GPAs, our cross-country team comes in at the highest GPA all the way down, and you can see the GPAs all the way through down to the bottom. Last year, we had a 2.87 GPA, and I reported to you I was disappointed in that, and I wasn't happy in that. We've typically always been over 3.0 GPA, but fortunately, we're on the rise. One of the big things we're seeing nowadays is we're seeing big swings. When I say big swings, we have students that have 4.0 GPAs, and we have students that have 0.08 GPAs. So what we need to do is we need to try to capture that and find out what's going on with those lower end students. I have a feeling of what it is. It has a lot to do with the learning styles of what's going on right now and how we're transitioning back into the classroom. So I do expect that number to go up. If it doesn't go up, I'll be very disappointed next year, but we're going to work to that. If you look on the bottom, as you guys on the board have this presentation, you can see the detailed athletic dashboard. You can click on that on your computers, and that'll give you the entire dashboard of athletics compared to the college campus. And as you can see, our completion rate and our rates, we have a very high rate compared to the rest of the campus. Going forward, we had over 221 competitions this year. We won 126 of them. We lost 95. I'm not happy with that. We're a 57% winning program. When I say that 57%, we won 57% of our contests. I'd like to be up in the 70th percentile. One of the things that we always work here at Antelope Valley College is to play for conference championships. That's our biggest goal. We start the year off by having the opportunity to win a championship. If we win a state championship, that's icing on the cake. But for us, we want to give all the student athletes in Antelope Valley the opportunity to experience winning championship, And although we do have a winning percentage, we still need to do better. But we had some wonderful highlights. And those highlights included a golf team that was 35-0. Won the conference, won SoCal, went on to state and lost the state championship to a school up north. But we did have the #1 golfer in the state. And one of our highlights is Arlene Salvador was the state champion in women's golf. And not only was she a state champion in women's golf, she broke the record in women's golf. So she is the best golfer to ever compete in the state of California women's golf and California Community College athletics. So Arlene came from Antelope Valley, and she's here tonight, and she will speak to you tonight. We also had our football team win the championship this year, and we played for the American Division Championship down in Mount San Jacinto at a bowl game down there. Some other highlight appearances we had both our men's and women's soccer program, tremendous programs, both make the playoffs. We had our men's golf one of our men's golfers transferred and play in the regionals. And our softball team was in the Southern California playoffs, as well as our track and field. Track and field had 2 girls. I think Coach Vini, what was it? We had 3 girls make all-state All-American, placing higher than their seed that they came. So from the Antelope Valley, in one of the races in the state championship, 2 of the 5 winners were from the Antelope Valley, standing on the podium at the state championship in Mount San Antonio. The tremendous accomplishment by our track program. So as you can see, we're moving forward. Our programs are gaining attention. Our programs are moving and having some success. And I say that in the sense that we're having success even facing the things we've had to face. This year, we've tested over 2,000 student athletes with this COVID protocols. We've had to go through tremendous amount of adversity. Our coaches have had to go through a tremendous amount of adversity, and everything that we've had to do with the protocols, with the testing protocols. Our softball team was going into play for a very important. That could have been another championship team. So coaches have got to adjust, coaches have got to adapt, and everything that they put forward, everything they work for is paying dividends. And again, when I say providing opportunities, as we move forward on the next page, when we see the transfers, that is a list of, as of 2 weeks ago, when I had to give this presentation to Patty, that is all the student athletes that are transferred. 50 names on that, and as of today, it's about 65. Student athletes continue to get scholarships. So when we say providing the opportunities, we're providing the opportunities for all these young people from the Antelope Valley to go somewhere different. Now, the big thing is we have to understand is that not all of our students transfer throughout California, because California has, high-level athletics, right? UCLA, Stanford, USC. A lot of our kids in the Antelope Valley don't have the ability to play there, but they do have the ability to play at Wagner College. They do have the ability to play at Sterling College. They do have the ability to play at Simpson College. They do have the ability to play at Crown College. But do you think Crown College is going to come to the Antelope Valley and look for student athletes at a Highland High School? No. At Berkeley High School? No. But they come to Antelope Valley College. So our kids are getting the opportunities. We're providing those opportunities for them. We feel are important. Right now, I'm going to transition a little bit. I'll let Arlene Salvador come on. Arlene, as I said before, is the number one. In California.
Hello? Oh. I apologize. Being a student athlete has meant a lot to me, especially being here at ABC. The amount of support we've received as a program, as a team, and as a family has been amazing throughout my experience at ABC. We were able to go into the first tournament and we won first place. And from there, we went a good whopping 35-0, where we were undefeated conference champions. That was amazing. And then on, we went into regionals and went to state, where our team had been the first team of women's golf to be able to make it to state. And again, with the amazing support ABC has brought, I was able to become the individual conference champion at state. I just wanted to say that thank you so much for the amount of support and everything that you guys have done for the program. And I am so blessed and so appreciative of everything you guys have done. And lastly, I wanted to say a very special thanks to Mr. Ed Knudsen for all of the support that he has given us, the program, and all of athletics. Thank you so much.
think Arlene failed to mention that she won her first tournament. I think she broke a record. And the next day she got an email from President Knudsen. Is that correct? And she called me and was so excited to come in and talk about that. So just a little things. Thanks for the support. Appreciate that. We're going to transition. We're going to have one of our longtime coaches here. I think, gosh, you were here. I'll let you say how long you were here, John, but John Taylor's going to come up and speak.
I'm actually going to read from this one. Good evening. My name is John Taylor, and I'm the head men's basketball coach here at Antelope Valley College. I've been here for over 22 years. I'm truly a basketball nut, but tonight I'm missing the first half of the NBA Finals so that we as an athletic and kinesiology department can honor our retiring outgoing president, Mr. Ed Knudsen. We want to thank you, Ed, for always helping our students and student athletes. Personally, you've come to my basketball practices several times during your time here at ABC, and you never came in the gym and asked me or came in to say, are you guys winning? How many points did you guys get last night, et cetera? You always, without exception, ask me how my players are doing academically, or are they getting ready for the university level of higher education? You have always been doing right for our students, period. I know as a head coach, I must make some tough decisions, and not everybody, including the players or fans, all agree with me. How do I know this? My wife sits in the stands and tells me. You, as the president of the college, have had to make numerous tough decisions. Not everybody liked them, but we believe as a group of coaches and kinesiology instructors that you always made it with the intent and sole purpose to help our students here at ABC. We think, and certainly I do, that during the COVID-21, you stood by our students and athletes and basically said, your teams may compete if you would like to, and you provided us with COVID testing, which always made our guys cry for about 1 minute. But you gave us and our student athletes a feeling of hope and believed in all of us through this tragic COVID thing. Many schools did not even participate during this time. Because of you, we were only one of maybe 10 to 12 schools out of 100 and something in the state that participated in sports. We thank you for all the things you've done here at ABC while sitting in the big chair. It's not made for everyone, and you made it look easy. On behalf of our athletic department and kinesiology instructors, we thank you for your great service.
You walk into the office in the morning, you got to be on your A game because Coach Taylor will make sure you're on your A game. Good job, Coach. Moving forward a little bit, we got a couple more things and I'll be done. One of the big things I wanted to update you on is our community athletic project. What we started about 4 years ago, back in 2018, is our community athletic project. And what that project is throughout the year, we provide free camps and clinics to all the young people of the Antelope Valley. So each one of our coaches back here puts on a free clinic with their student athletes, with their coaches, and it's open to all the young people of the Antelope Valley. It started to take off really big, and this is our soccer camp, as you can see. A lot of smiling faces. They get T-shirts, they get water bottles, and some of these kids, they come to every camp, and they probably have 15 T-shirts, but they still get excited to get that T-shirt and be on our campus. Our feeling is this, is that we need to gain the attention of the young people and bring them to Antelope Valley College in a positive manner. So as they're growing up and as they're progressing through their athletic career, maybe they're not in their athletic career, they see Antelope Valley College as a positive experience. Bring them on our facilities, bring them out there meeting our student athletes, meeting our coaches. Our whole goal and our main drive the young people in the Antelope Valley to see that this is a great place to be and they can have positive experiences here. So we're growing with that. I've met with the Palmdale foster families. I don't remember the name of it, but we're working with them to try to bring the Palmdale foster youth into our programs when we have these clinics. So that's a great positive, and our coaches and everybody does that unselfishly and does it for nothing, and we just provide it to the community. So I'm going to conclude, and if you indulge me for a second, an old Knuckle Dragon football coach quoting literature is not done very often, but I'd like to quote this: "The fault finder will find faults even in paradise. Love your life, of course it is." We've sat here for the last year and a half and listened in this boardroom about how awful this college is by people that want to talk down about how awful this place is. And I'm here to tell you, and the reason I brought the staff in tonight is this place is a wonderful place to be. Our student athletes love being here. Our student athletes love competing here. Our coaches, long in the tooth as John Taylor is, long as the tooth is Coach Green back there, and some of those gray beards, they've been here a long time because it's a great place. Sure, we can find faults, but the big thing we need to do is focus on the positives. And my whole goal tonight was to tell you thank you, and you have a wonderful, positive athletic program and the people that we have. And it's time, and I really firmly believe this, it's time to move forward. I've been an athletic director at 4 colleges, and I've had the opportunity to serve with many different people. And the greatest leader by far is Mr. Ed Knutson, the best I've ever worked for, bar none. Military, public education, the Keebler Cookie Company, that's a different job. It wasn't a good one for me. It was not a good job for me. I never had serious, as you can tell, I never lost it. Never a better leader, and it was such an honor and a privilege to serve. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, item 12.3, presentation, Measure AV, Oversight Committee Annual Report.
I am not Diane Grooms.
No,
We're not sure. Diane must have got hung up someplace. You have in your packet the written report from Measure AV. We briefed you last month on some of the changes that had to be made in the construction and the construction timeline. And so please just accept that report as a requirement by law that we have to make annually. But the report is made in writing, and on behalf of Diane, if you have any questions, we'll be happy to answer those. You can direct them to me later.
okay, that sounds good. Okay, now we'll move on to item 12.4, presentation of the 2022 to 23 tentative budget.
Good evening, Board of Trustees, President Knudsen, student board member. Tonight, I'm presenting the 22-23 tentative budget. Topics discussed tonight will be the governor's May revision highlights, the timeline, a brief overview of the student-centered funding formula, 21-22 estimated actuals, HERF, budget assumptions, and then finally the 22-23 tentative budget. Highlights from the governor's May revise include 1.3 billion in ongoing spending and 2.9 billion in one-time spending. Other highlights include a SCIF COLA of 6.56%, proposed SCIF formula rate increased by 9.89%. That includes 375 million in base funding increase, hold harmless provision sunset in 24-25, and the creation of a multi-year roadmap which enhances timely transfers, improve rates of completion, closes equity gaps, and calls for better alignment of the system with K-12 and workforce needs. Reporting deadlines, the standard reporting deadlines are in place for 22-23. The district expects to meet all of those reporting deadlines. The student-centered funding formula. Shown here is an overview of the formula. The base allocation is 70%, the supplemental allocation is 20%, and the student success, 10% is student success, and there are the various components of those allocations shown there. The current split 70-20-10 is in statute. There's no plans to change. The SCIF Oversight Committee will make recommendations, but not on the split. The rates will be adjusted annually by an enacted COLA.
Like I said previously, the skip hold harmless provision is active through 24-25. Shown in this slide, this is the impact of SCIF. As you can see on the left is funding based purely on FTES. On the right, with the increases shown in blue of the SCIF formula, it results in about a $10 million increase annually. So that's the benefit that the district has realized from that transition. Moving on to Higher Education Emergency Relief Funds, or HERF. Shown here is the breakdown between institutional aid, minority serving institution aid, and student aid. We've had 3 allocations, HERF 1, 2, and 3. The district received $40.4 million in institutional aid, $3.7 million in MSI minority serving institutions, and $29.4 million in student funding. The student portion has been fully distributed, and $15.1 million remains unallocated between institutional aid and MSI. Shown here are the 21-22 estimated actuals for the unrestricted general fund. Starting with a beginning fund balance of $39.2 million, revenues are projected to total $89.5 million, and expenditures and other outgo projected to be $90 million, leaving an ending fund balance of $38.7 million. After assignments, the unassigned ending fund balance is projected to be $14.7 million, equating to a reserve of 16.28%. Breakdown for general fund estimated revenues shown here, 24% was federal, 9% local, and 67% state. This is the total general fund, including restricted and unrestricted. And then expenditures totaled $140.9 million. The percentage breakdown between the categories is shown on the slide. Overall salaries and benefits made up 54% of expenditures, which is significantly lower than prior years due to one-time COVID funds, which are included in other outgo. And for all funds for 21-22, revenues total $205.8 million. Expenditures are projected to be $260.2 million, resulting in a deficit of $54.4 million. And that's due primarily to Measure AV funds being expended. Assumptions that went into the tentative budget are shown here. Again, the SCIF COLA 6.56%. The emergency conditions allowance ends this fiscal year 21-22, so that is not factored into the budget year. We assumed FTES would stay the same as 21-22 P2 counts. Along with the head count, we did consider step and column increases and pension rate increases. Then the tentative budget has a beginning fund balance of $38.7 million. Revenue is projected to total $87.5 million. Expenditures and other outgo are expected to be $83 million, leaving an unassigned fund balance of $43.2 million. After assignments, the unassigned ending fund balance is projected to be $19.1 million, equating to a reserve of 23.1%. Then the general revenue, the general fund revenue, which includes both restricted and unrestricted, 73% is state revenue, 18% is federal, and 9% is local. Expenditures are shown here for the tentative budget for the budget year. Expenditures total $136.2 million. The percentage breakdown is shown in the categories. Salaries and benefits make up 58% of expenditures and other outgo, which again is due to one-time COVID funds. For Fund 10 alone, for the unrestricted general fund, salaries and benefits make up 83.3%. In the 22-23 tentative budget for all funds, revenues total $306.4 million, and expenditures are budgeted to be $317.1 million, resulting in a deficit of $10.6 million. Again, that's due to Measure AV funds being expended. One of the most critical components in the budgeting process is enrollment, determined in large part by FTES. Shown here is a trend of FTES. In blue are actual FTES, and in light blue is the budget year projection. 2021 had a drop of 17% from 1920, and 21-22 had another drop of 9%. The cumulative change from 1920 to 21-22 is a drop of 31.6%. The impact of that. Our current 21-22 FTES count is 8,398. The SCIF calculation uses a 3-year rolling average. Based on that rolling average, our FTES, the funded FTES, are 10,296, which provide an apportionment estimate of 82.9 million. If we were to use current FTES, the revenue estimate would be 73.9 million, a difference of 9 million. If our enrollment doesn't improve, we'll likely be in deficit spending scenario in the coming years. When we present the adopted budget, we'll have the multi-year projections, which will include the projected impact to the fund balance. And this budget will change during adopted as we move towards an enacted budget. So we look forward to the final state budget. Thank you. Any questions?
Yes. All right, Mr. Vice President. We listed the 3 allocations of the rescue aid money. Was that the COVID money we're talking about?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Federal funds.
Now, the first 2, you spent it up. The third one, you have some funds still left.
Yes.
How are you going to allocate that?
We're using a priority approach where we would have otherwise used for those approved expenditures where we would have needed to use unrestricted general funds. We're trying to use the HERF funds first. So our first goal is to use HERF funds where we can, where it's allowable to do so. Our IT team has been very helpful in finding those opportunities for us, as well as our facilities team. So we are trying to use those federal funds where we can.
I noticed on the budget, the three main items was general fund, construction, and financial aid. Is that correct? The main categories and the budget, the tentative budget, were general fund expenditures, construction, and financial aid. Is that
Instruction and financial aid.
the 3 big categories in the?
That was for the HERF funds?
Yeah,
Yeah.
actuals. Yeah, the actuals on the tentative budget. The last one you showed us on.
Is this what you're referring to?
It was the.
This?
One more tentative budget. What's the tentative budget? 2023 tentative budget. Yeah.
This one right here.
Yeah, just before the FTS history.
Just before this? Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, so you got 3 main items on there. The actual expenditures, construction, financial aid. So those are the biggies in the budget?
Yeah, those are funds. We have separate funds for financial aid, for scholarship, those transactions, those are flow throughs. So that's where funds come in and then they're distributed from. Those are not the expenditure necessarily.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So our operating funds, the ones that we typically do business out of, are funds 10 and 12 shown there. And then the bond funds are Fund 42 is primarily that fund.
Okay, I was watching a news conference today by Assemblyman Santiago, who's a big supporter of the community college system. And he said something about a bill that's on the governor's desk to increase Cal grants by $500 million. Would that really help us if we?
That'll help our students, absolutely. I mean, any funding that comes in to help our students helps us as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I was looking at your graph for the 22 estimated expenditures, and I know you mentioned 58%. When I add it up, I get 54% of our expenditures for salaries and benefits. And you mentioned that was due, it was low, typically because of one-time monies. Am I correct? What you said?
Yeah, it's one-time money, it's her funds, and it's the distribution to students. Actually, they're included in that 20%.
Okay.
That other outgo.
Typically, you're saying it's lower. What would it typically be if we did not have the one-time funds?
So typically, the way we report salaries as a percentage of our expenditures is looking at the unrestricted general fund, right? So typically, you look at unrestricted expenses and you look at what percentage your salaries and benefits are of the unrestricted general fund. This includes some restricted programs, just like we're talking about here, HERF. So typically, we exclude those. We look at it and we want it to be within 80 to 85%. Now, in this estimated actuals and in the budget year, we're right in the middle. We're at 83.3% right now. It's not shown here, but I calculated those numbers in anticipation of that question.
That's considered pretty safe area.
It is
or
considered
would we
safe.
be better at like a high 70?
It would be extremely difficult to get to a high 70.
Okay.
Yeah.
And during this time, we have not, to my knowledge, and correct me if I'm wrong, laid off any of our classified or.
No, we have had no layoffs, at least not in the last year, and I don't believe it.
We haven't had any layoffs in 9 years.
Thank you, President Knudsen.
Thank you.
Question, what percentage of reserves is considered best practice for community colleges?
Community college reserves range anywhere from, I've seen as low as 5% to typical, an average reserve is in the 20s. And that's really where you need to be. You want 2 months of reserves at a minimum to cover yourself, or if there's any, we saw the issues when the pandemic first started, right? If you don't get state funds, can you rely on your reserves to process payroll? That's really the question. So you want at least 2 months. The board has a goal of 15% here. That's a good goal. The more we can get, the better it is for our own protection, for our district's protection.
And to Shami's point, just to add on to that a little bit, what occurs and what was occurring just before we closed down for COVID was a deferral. The state was in a financial situation and they were deferring. They were saying, yeah, you got a budget of 82 million, but we're only going to send you 69. And so that 13 million was deferred. So those reserves hedge against that. And then if we have to take a trans loan, they come in buckets of $10 million and we don't get reimbursed the interest.
Okay. Anybody else have a question?
Thank you, everybody.
Okay. Thank you.
President.
Okay. Moving along to item 13.1, which is a report of closed session action. Board of Trustees took the following actions in the closed session on agenda item number 4.2. Board of Trustees approved resolution number 21-22/23, which established the following. The Board of Trustees approved agreements for the district's purchase of certain properties situated in the city of Lancaster. The agreements and properties are identified as follows. Agreement dated April 26, 2022, APN 3153-021-003 and APN 3153-021-037. And then agreement dated April 26, 2022, which is APN 3153-021-027 and APN 3153-021-028. Agreement dated April 6th, 2022, APN 3153-021-031, and agreement dated March 28, 2022, APN 3153-021-032. 020-021. The Board of Trustees approved the buyer representation agreement exclusive with Boast Properties Incorporated to assist the district with the district's purchase of the Lancaster properties. The Board of Trustees approved form of certificate of acceptance of real property deed and authorized district staff to execute certificates of acceptance of real property deed in connection with the district's purchase of the Lancaster properties. The Board of Trustees authorized the district's president, superintendent, to take all measures necessary to complete the district's purchase of the Lancaster properties, provided that if any further agreements are entered into by the superintendent, president superintendent, to complete the district's purchase of the Lancaster properties, such agreements are not binding or enforceable against the district until the Board of Trustees has ratified such other agreements, and that passed on a 5-0 vote. Okay, consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none advice?
Approve.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, passes unanimously. Okay, moving on to action items. Item 15.1, approval of the 2022-23 tentative budget. Do we have a motion?
So move.
Second?
Yes, Mr. President, I have a question for the Vice President.
You're seconding this, Mr. Reeves?
I'll second
Okay.
the question.
Okay, any
Okay.
discussion?
Mr. Vice President, this is a tentative budget. When will the final budget be submitted to the board?
At the September board meeting.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, any other discussions? Hearing none advice?
Approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, passes unanimously. Item 15.2, approval to rescind resolution number 19-20/7 COVID-19 emergency plans. Hearing none advice?
Approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approves unanimously. Item 15.3, approval of resolution number 21-22/27, Antelope Valley CCD reimbursement resolution of land acquisition. Is there a motion?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, hearing none advice?
Approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 15.4, approval of resolution number 21-22/28 to acquire federal surplus property through the auspices of the California State Agency for Surplus Property. Do we have a motion?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none advice?
Approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, item 15.5, approval of resolution 21-22/31 for the sole source of software license. Do we have a motion?
So move.
Second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none advice?
Approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 15.6, approval of the Antelope Valley Community College District and the Antelope Valley Federation of Classified Employees 2020-23 revised classified holiday schedule. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Yes, Mr. President. In the future, I hope that Mexican Americans in our community will be recognized with a holiday. Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion?
I do want to say something. I agree. That it's a national holiday. My employer do give us pay for that day. That's it.
All righty, any other discussion? Hearing none, advice?
I approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, item 15.7, approval to increase funds for Summit Urgent Care for in-person medical care to students. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, advice?
I approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 15.8, approval of academic policies and procedures, APMP, committee's recommendation of course listing. Is there a motion?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none advice?
Approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 15.9, approval of employment opportunity fund multiple method allocation model certification form for fiscal year 2021-22. Is there a motion?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none. Advice?
Approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Item 15.10, approval of clinical affiliation agreement between Antelope Valley Community College District and Ridgecrest Regional Hospital from July 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2023. Do we have a motion?
So move. Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none advice?
Approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 15.11, approval of school affiliation agreement between Antelope Valley College and High Desert Medical Group from July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2023. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none
I want
advice?
to say something on that.
Sure.
I read that and that's a good agreement for, I have faith in our daycare. I didn't even know it was that big. So for that to be on there, that's amazing. We got a great daycare that could teach these young people how to be the next leaders in the field of early childhood education. That's it.
Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none advice?
I approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 15.12, approval of lease agreement with Noah's Ark Foundation and Antelope Valley Community College District for 4 greenhouses for agricultural research. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
I have a question on that.
Sure.
Besides them sharing their profits with us to help our students with the scholarship foundation we have, will our students be using that facility for any reason?
It's in direct support. Part of the driver here is undergraduate research programs that we have with the Division of Math Science and Engineering. And Dr. Nasani and Dr. Harper have been very active in that role along with Dean Valiotis. And this is advanced research in agriculture, and our students, we have intellectual property rights for juried publications, except for patents. So our students will be working directly with the researchers, yes.
Thank you. That's amazing.
Okay, advice?
I approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 15.13, approval of memorandum of understanding between Inyo National Forest and Adelaide Community College from June 13th, 2022 until June 13th, 2027. Do we have a motion?
So move.
Is there a
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none advice?
I approve.
All in. Aye. Approved unanimously. 15.14, approval of memorandum of understanding between Antelope Valley College and the UFW Foundation through October of 2022. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none advice?
I approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passes. Okay, item 15.15, approval of memorandum of understanding between Familia, Barrios Catering, and Antelope Valley Community College District for food truck services. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Yes, Mr. President. This agreement with the catering people is for a limited time. When are we going to get our cafeteria back?
We have a plan to remodel that facility, and it probably will take the better part of a year. And we'll be looking for vendors over that course of that year. And in the meantime, we are looking for being able to rotate a variety of food and catering services here on campus for students.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none advice?
I approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Item 1516, approval of memorandum of understanding between Palmdale School District Early Childhood Education Program Developing in Partnership, DAP, and Antelope Valley College. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none advice?
I approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Okay, item 15.17, approval of early childhood education fieldwork site agreement between University of Massachusetts Global and Antelope Valley College from May 18th, 2022 through May 18th, 2025. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
any discussion? Hearing none
I'm
advice?
sorry, that's where my comment meant, for the records. When I made that comment before, I meant to make it for this
Yeah, for
one.
here.
Yeah,
Yes.
so, all right, that's it.
All right. So, any other discussion? Hearing none advice?
I approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, item 15.18, approval of local agreement for child development services for 2022-2023 years. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none advice?
I approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, passes unanimously. Item 15.19, approval of discontinuance of agriculture, park, and landscape management AGRA program. Is there a motion?
So second.
Okay, motion and second, any discussion?
Yes, Mr. President, I'm going to combine 15.19, 15.20.
Point of order.
Okay, we have to stay on the thing that's.
Okay, we'll do it.
Table right now.
15.19, approval of discontinuance of agriculture, park, and landscape management program. I know that there was a shared governments committee that decided after doing a survey and so forth. But considering the time that we're in right now, where people are seeking employment and they're probably in a shortage of water, I think this program would be beneficial in the future, because there certainly are going to be opportunities open in the future as people convert their lawns from grass to a desert landscape. So at this time, I would not discontinue this program until we see what transpires through the rest of the year. Thank you.
Well, in response, the Academic Senate and the officers went through a nearly two-year process of reviewing the program, enrollment trends and data, and the viability and labor market information that's available to date. And it's upon recommendation of the Academic Senate that this program be discontinued. And if there is a change in the environment where technology changes and there is an updated way of creating a new program at some future time, I'm sure the Senate would be happy to entertain that, looking at a new program. But at this time, it's not financially sustainable.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none advice?
I approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
And any nays?
Opposed?
Okay. Passes forward. Okay. Item 15.20. Approval of discontinuance of Office Technology Program OTP. Is there a motion?
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Mr. President. There was research done by the college on this discontinuance of the Office Technology Program. And this program offered people associate's degrees as they learn the technology. Now, it's nice that they spent 1 or 2 years studying this and taking surveys and so forth, but the current situation where we have a lack of people qualified to do jobs and seeking jobs, I don't think it's beneficial for the college to eradicate this program at this time. Sure, how many times do you eradicate a program and you bring it back later? you know any instances where that has happened?
Yeah, after the technology is reviewed and updated and the programs are modified and brought current, then the program comes back as something completely different. We're
Yeah.
calling this office technology. In the 50s, this was known as Secretary of Science.
Well.
So what I'm saying is that upon recommendation of the faculty and in studying the program and studying labor market information and studying the technology that is current, they're making the recommendation that this program does not meet current needs. Now, if the faculty develop a program that meets current needs and develops the skills that are necessary to be successful in the workplace, I am quite confident that the Academic Senate will bring that program forward for approval.
Well, are we doing this on what you said? Are we doing this on fiscal reasons?
Well, the enrollment can't sustain it. And the faculty in the program have recommended the discontinuance.
Well, you know,
This is a 10+1 issue.
Yeah.
And we rely primarily on the recommendation of the Academic Senate where it comes to matters of curriculum and program.
But we do. That's
Did I say
shared-
that right?
That is called shared government, but the ultimate authority to make the decision rests with the Board of Trustees, doesn't it?
It does, but our role in 1725 and participatory governance is this board has said it will rely primarily on the recommendation of faculty as pertains to curriculum and program development. And unless we have a specific reason to deny that and not rely primarily on their recommendation, we have to reply in writing, and we better have a sound reason for doing so.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none advice?
I approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays?
No.
Okay. Okay. Item 15.21, approval of district's 5-year construction plan. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none advice?
I approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
15.22, approval of independent contractor agreement with Robin Harrington for consulting services with Perkins 5 grants. Is there a motion?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
I approve. Oh,
Hearing none advice?
I approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 15.23, approval of consultant services with Alicia Weineken to teach foster parent seminars from July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2025. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none advice?
I approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 15.24, approval to purchase IT equipment for new student service building with Measure AV funds. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none advice?
I approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Item 15.25, approval of hazardous waste removal services with North State Environmental for the district from July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2023. Is there a motion?
So move. Second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none advice?
I approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 15.26, approval of amendment to continue utilization of Desert Haven Enterprises at Foxfield and the Palmdale Center. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none advice?
I approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Item 15.27. Approval of correction to May 9th, 2022. Agenda item 16.27, approval of insurance program coverage extension proposal and statewide educational wrap-up program for infrastructure project 17-029 with Measure AV funds. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none advice?
I approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 15.28, approval of project assignment revision to Kruger Benson Zymer Architects Incorporated Gymnasium Renovation Project 17-002 with Measure AV funds. Is there a motion?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, advice?
I approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Item 15.29, approval of change order for Sage Hall 17-031 with Measure AV funds. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, advice?
I approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. 15.30, approval to file notice of completion and resolution of acceptance on the Sage Hall project 17-031 for Taft Electric Company with Measure AV funds. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, advice?
I approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Item 15.31, approval to file notice and completion and resolution of acceptance on the swing space to project 18-011 for Rancho Pacific Electric Construction Incorporated with Measure AV funds. Is there a motion?
So move.
Okay, second.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, advice?
I approve.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we have information items. You've all read those, I assume. And so we'll just move right along to reports and announcements. And I'm going to turn this over for Barbara for a minute. We start with Mr. Van Ryder.
Good evening, members of the board, Mr. Knudsen. I'd like to share my appreciation for President Knudsen's explanation of the 10+1 as far as the purview of curriculum. In items 1519, 1520, per AP 4021, we followed the program discontinuance process, careful evaluation of the programs themselves. AP 4021 delineates very specific rationale for any discontinuance. It was found in both cases that there was a decline in enrollment, there was an obsolete curriculum or program, and it did not satisfy a CSU pathway. For those reasons, those programs were discontinued. However, development of, in the case of OTP for BIP, offered updated or current curriculum, allowing our students to be trained and prepared for careers and professions in those areas. Same thing with agriculture. President Knudsen alluded to the desires of that division and department to look forward to agricultural science in the future to best serve those students and then to make use of the resources, both in terms of fiscal resources, physical resources, as well as human resources. So I appreciate that and wanted to give that simple clarification or additional information. As far as the report and the information, I encourage you to read through that. Not because I think that we need to pat on the back, but I think it's because we validate the work that's done collectively. President Knudsen said something during his remarks and he looked back to us all. And he said, work together moving forward. The report is a culmination of the year's work of us working together. Standing Senate committees are chaired by faculty and administrators. Administrators that are sitting to my left. Administrators that are sitting to my right also sit on those shared governance or standing committees. We work together in moving the college forward, and I appreciate that. Finally, on behalf of the Academic Senate, Ed, we wish you well. One of the first things I remember as a new Senate president was Ed saying there's an open door. Ed, you have always afforded me the opportunity, always with professionalism and courtesy. I appreciate that. I've also come to see and understand his focus. It took me a little bit to figure that out, Ed. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you. And there have been times when the Senate and perhaps I have not seen things exactly like you did. But of this, I'm sure that we share together the student success, culminated by 5 years of Ed and I standing on a stage together at graduation or in front of a camera. Highlighted last 2 weeks ago with those 18 graduates. That is the culmination of what we do together. That is the aspiration of what Ed wants us to work towards. That is the invitation that I offer to the board, that as you move forward, that you look to the Senate as a partner that we can consult collegially, even more so than we have. There are great things ahead of us. So as you look at that final year's report, understand that there is room for improvement, certainly, but we can only do that together. Thank you.
Antelope Valley College Federation of Teachers, Dr. Jason Bowen.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. First, I would like to provide some clarification that I received. The office technology program was actually replaced with business information professional. I have here, so good evening, board members and President Knudsen. Dr. Bird was unable to attend tonight, and incoming Federation President, Dr. Jason Bowen, that's me, graciously agreed to present her report. Thank you to President Knudsen for his service to the college. The Federation wishes him well in his retirement. Thank you also to the board members for their service. It has been a privilege and a pleasure to address you every month. I have greatly enjoyed my term as president of the Federation, but all good things must come to an end. It gives me great pleasure to hand down the reins off to Dr. Jason Bowen, who will take office as president of the Federation on July 1st. I have the utmost confidence in his leadership, and I look forward to helping him and the Federation in any way. Thank you, and I hope you all have an excellent holiday.
Thank you. Antelope Valley College Federation of Classified Employees, Suzanne Olson.
Good evening. On behalf of Classified, we thank the Board of Trustees for naming the press box in honor of Frank Odell. President Knudsen, on behalf of Classified, we extend congratulations to you on your retirement and welcome to incoming President Jennifer Saleh. Thank you.
Thank you. Confidential Management Supervisor Administrator Employees, Michelle Hernandez.
Good evening, members of the board and President Knudsen. Just on behalf of the confidential management supervisors and administrative group, we'd like to express our heartfelt gratitude to you, Mr. Knudsen, for your guidance and leadership throughout the last 9 years, for your support of student success, and for your support of us as leaders on the campus and within our community. We wish you all the best as you navigate this next part of your journey, hoping that the best is still yet to come. So thank you.
Okay. Associated Student Organization, Diana Ferozzi. Ferozzi. I believe I have that right.
Okay, can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Hello, members of the board and President Knudsen. I'm very excited to be here today. And for today's announcement, I would like to announce that This past Thursday, June 9th, I was sworn in as the president of the Associated Student Organization, and I'm extremely excited to get started and work along with everybody that's here, except for Mr. Knudsen. But I wish you the best in your future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you. Elk Valley College Foundation, Diane Knipple. Welcome back, Diane.
Good evening, board members, President Knudsen. I just want to give you a piece of good news as always. That's what the foundation is here for, is to help students like all of us, right? This year, we were able to give our largest number of scholarships at $246,000. Over 220 actual scholarships, with the average being about $1,600 per student. So it's a banner year for us, and I appreciate that. We've already talked about your contributions with the foundation at our last board meeting, and all I can say, Ed, is that you've made a difference. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Office of the Superintendent President, Mr. Knudsen.
Well, I've probably spoken enough tonight, or have had people interrupt your evenings enough. I'm sitting here a little bit sad because Oregon State lost to Auburn tonight in the World Series, which chaps my hide. But when I left military service, my order said released from active duty. And that's a strange phrase. At the time, I was very excited, but tonight I feel like I'm being released from active duty. Susan and I and our family have some wonderful plans for the future. And as I threatened you all before, I'm here until June 30th, and my foot will not leave the gas pedal until 11:59:59 that night. We're here to serve the community first, and when we do that, we serve our students and we seek opportunity. And to all of you, it has been my great honor and privilege to have served you all as your president for the last 9 years. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Board member comments. I'll start down with our student trustee.
All right. Hello, everybody. All right, so I got a few things to say. I want to first start off with, we definitely want to work together, as the president said. And one thing he notably said, that we need to start off with yes, and, that's how we're going to build solutions together. Yes, and, so we got to be able to be willing to take those risks, getting out there with our community, working with the public, working with the city of Lancaster, continue to work with the city of Lancaster, but also getting out there with the community, working with the community. We need more events like what they put on at the block party. We need more events like the Juneteenth event we having coming up on Saturday. We need to support events like that. We need to also support community events as well, other people's Juneteenth events. So I'm actually having a Juneteenth event on Sunday. I'm working with the city of Lancaster on this. And I would love, not right now, but I would have loved for the support. I didn't get to really mention it to anybody, but I would have loved the support of ABC to be able to have their banner out there, or anything just to be out there. That's amazing with all them people that's about to show up. We got the pop-up skating rink, cost $7,700 for a pop-up skating rink for free for the community. And I want to invite everybody out to that one. And I'm also working our Juneteenth event as well. I got a long weekend this weekend. I'm gonna be working the voting table at our Juneteenth event on Saturday. So it's in the Fine Arts Squad. Everybody's invited to that too, President, everybody. So I'm gonna be registering students. We competing in the college ballot bowl, the California ballot bowl. So we got a lot of work to do this coming year. I got a lot of work to do. I'm gonna work with the president of our student club. I'm gonna work with our new advisor over there. I'm gonna work with everybody, build that relationship with them, and I'm also working with the pre-law club as well as the ICC rep. So I'm gonna be really, really involved on campus and offside of campus, working with the city of Lancaster. And I see that you are working with the city of Lancaster as well. Congratulations, that's awesome, amazing. And yeah, I'll see y'all at, I'll see you at your next meeting as well. And I want to welcome the new president, Ms. Jennifer. I'm glad to have you. I'm excited that you're here and you're going to do a great job. And President, I didn't get to know you, but from all the looks of it, everybody loves you. So I love you too. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Mr. Adams.
Well, it's kind of hard to love an army puke, but I've tried not to hold that against you for the 9 years. A little over 9 years ago, we went through a very extensive presidential search process, as we just did with Dr. Zealot. And it was different than this last time because the presidential search committee was about 4 times larger than the one we just had, and was much more involved and was much more in person, and was a long, long process. At the end of that process, the 5 board members got together in the room, and it took us approximately 2 minutes to say, Ed Knutson's our guy. And it wasn't a hard decision. It was one of those decisions that the only thing we were afraid of is that Ed would say no. That was our sole concern through the whole process. When I got on the phone with him, I had the other 4 board members with me in the room, and they were there basically to say, if he says no, you add this much more to his salary. So unfortunately, I never got a chance to do that because as soon as I said, Ed, we would like you to, he said, I accept. And that has been his attitude since that first day. Ed has shown me through 9 years that his sole concern has been the students, the community, our faculty and staff, and keeping the board informed as to what was going on. It's been very, very easy as a board member to support Ed in everything he's done, in his decisions, in his actions, because I know in his heart what he's tried to do for this institution. I know from looking at the results of what he's done here, he's been successful, far more successful than I think anybody will realize until many years down the road. And so Ed, I'm going to miss you a lot. When we first hired you, I hoped we would keep you for at least 5 years. So you did better than that for us. And it's been an incredible 9 years. And I've been proud to call you a friend, proud to call you our president superintendent. Thank you.
Mr. Reeves. President Knudsen, I want to thank you for all the kindness that you've shown me, even though I make your temperature go up sometimes. And before I was on the board, and now that I've been on the board, you've been exceedingly kind and understanding and helpful. And you mentioned a military phrase, and I want to leave you with a military phrase. I hope you have fair winds and following seas.
Yes, I just would like to say that being newly elected in 2020, one of my concerns coming into the board trustee role was not necessarily what would I know or be able to, grasp those types of things. It was what would the challenges be in the relationships? And coming here, what I found, Ed, is that you are one of the most inclusive, fair-minded people that I've ever met. And to me, that's a big deal. It means a lot. So I want you to know I have enjoyed my time here on the board with you as president. Dr. Zealot, I know because I have been in the seat before, it's very hard to watch someone else go with all of their accolades. But being a new board member, one thing I can tell you about the Antelope Valley, because I've only been here about 6-7 years myself, is that this is a community that will embrace you. If you give what you have to offer, you will see they will support you in just the same way. So I want you to feel good about this, and I want you to know we're excited for your tenure also. Also, I wanted to congratulate Arlene Salvador, the golfer. That's a really big deal that she won, such a high level of competition. I hope to see her on the ladies tour one day. And then the last thing I wanted to say was about Mr. Frank Odell. It says something to give a lifetime of service to your community. And it's not that it, doesn't matter, it doesn't mean nothing. It means something. So I just want to say that I'm very proud that we were able to name the press box after Mr. Odell. I did not know him, but serving your community is one of the finest things a person can do. Ms. Gaines.
Okay. Ed, one of my favorite authors and motivational speakers is Simon Sinek. I'm not sure if you've read any of his work, but Simon says that a true leader requires being a part of something bigger than yourself. And so I just want to say, as I sat here this evening, listening to many people from our community talk about the great things that you have done, even outside the realm of this community college. For example, the Thanksgiving meals that you would often deliver to our sheriffs, or all the work you did for our veterans, our local veterans. And I've had firsthand experience seeing you show up periodically at some of the K-12 districts just to align and give that support and make sure that our young people know all the great things that go on at the community college. And so many of those things never, ever, I think, reach the ears of a lot of the people who work on this campus. And so I just want to say that I've been here most of the 9 years with you. I think I missed a few months, but it has been an absolute pleasure. I also want to thank you because there's been many times I have picked up the phone and said, hey, can you help me with this or give me some advice, as there were people outside my door waiting for an answer. And you always made me look good, Ed. Thank you for that. I wish you and Susan and that daughter with the beautiful voice the very, very best in your future. I don't know what to say. So many things. And I'm just going to say that I'm so excited that one of the last accomplishments, even though you still got a couple weeks to go, Ed, don't forget, is that the acquisition of the 30 acres, which, as you look around this campus, there's just not a lot of land left. And so the purchase of that and the vision, you're such a visionary. I love that about you, Ed. The vision to see that as an opportunity, maybe not for 4, 5, 10 years, I don't know when, that this campus would use that 30 acres. Just, I don't know what else to say. Thank you. Thank you for your leadership, Ed.
Well, I just want to say there's a direct connection between what Mr. Knutson does in the community, what the board and the college does in the community, and the kind of support we get when we go for a bond. And where some people struggle to pass a bond, we pass it with over 70%. That's significant. And Ed has always been very, very active in the community. He knows everyone. He knows how to get some things done. There's a lot of things that get done around here with community partnership help because they know and interact with Ed Knutson. And when he asks, they come forward and help us. And it's significant, and it makes for a much, much better situation for the school. So thank you for your effort. And I'm glad you may need some Kleenex, right? So anyway, he's done so many wonderful things for the college. We are much further ahead than we were 9 years ago. It's amazing. I'm still in disbelief that he took our first offer. I was just stunned. Thank you, Ed. And we will adjourn this meeting till July 11th, I believe.